And welcome everybody. I am ready to get things started here. If you guys can hear me, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do something totally different. Type in your dream vacation place. Type in where like you want to go on wherever your dream vacation would be. Like whatever city, whatever country, could be anywhere, right? Could be, just a family vacation to your kid's house or grandkid's house or something like that. It could be Paris, it could be Mexico, wherever it is, right? I got Florence, Switzerland. I got Florence, Italy, and then Switzerland, Norway, Alaska cruise, Deborah. Nice. Ronaldo, you can go there now. I don't know if you know that. Bora Bora. Ronaldo was being smart and said North Korea, but what he doesn't realize is North Korea just opened up a beach and they opened up a golf course there. We got Chechnya, Iceland to see the Aurora Borealis, Australia, back to Italy, the good old Rocky Mountains. I love it. Get you one of them Coors lattes that they sell there, right? We got Bora Bora, Sedona, Keith. Nope, not one of those yet. We got Hawaii, Kuwait, Augusta next month. You know it, Rodney. Are you going there, Roddy? Aloha says it all. Yeah, Jerry, I guess you do live in somebody's dream vacation spot. I'm glad to see that you have power back and things are going well. Let's see. The moon. Okay. Hey, I'm sure, you stick around here long enough, Daniel. There will be I'm sure there'll be commercial flight. It'll probably be Delta, or just don't take a Spirit flight to the moon because I don't know if you're ever getting back from that one. William, good to see you as well. Let's see. Bill, thank you. Brandon, thank you. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Joseph, love it. Let's see. Um, yeah, I've been once as well. Brandon, thank you so much as well. Good to see you. Well, guys, we got a lot that we're gonna unpack here today. I'll just say this: it's just a lot going on. Okay, let's just say that, to say the least. So we're gonna get into it really quickly. Before I begin, gotta let you know, not acting in my capacity as a licensed financial professional, simply share to show you opportunity and share opportunity with you, as well as you have to understand the risks that go along with trading. Make sure you accept those risks and take on those risks. And then lastly, any trades that I show here today, if you decide to take any of them, just know, right? Just know that you do so of and on your own volition. I'm sorry, I'm holding back laugh here. Jerry with the comment of the night. That cult that left on the comment. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Are you talking about Jim Jones? That happened. That actually happened in my mom's home country in Guyana. The Jim Jones incident of, I guess it was the 80s or the 90s, or the other one that happened in Haley's comment when I was a little kid in the 90s. Anybody's first time here? Type in a wire yes if it's your first time here. Anybody's first time here? Let's see. Anybody? Okay, good. A couple of you. So, just really quickly, introduce myself. My name is James Bishop. Been in trading education for 17 years. Owner of a managed fund. Owner of a retirement and estate planning company. I have my MBA in finance. Finishing my doctorate in finance and economics as well. It is labor of love, to say the least, and it is something that is a true passion of mine, to say the least. Give me 1 second here. Let me plug in my laptop. There we go. Perfect. And that's just a little bit about me. For those of you in here that don't know who I am, Romel. See, I got it right. This old dog learned a new trick. Good to see you, buddy. And really quickly, a couple of housekeeping items. The first housekeeping item here is Wealth Watch. So I guess I should do two of these now. The first is Wealth Watch here. I'm going to send you guys this link. For those of you guys in here that aren't subscribed yet, This is a free newsletter. I send out trading opportunities. I send out videos every single day. They come directly to your email. It's free. You'll also get a playbook on how the 10 major fundamental news announcements that affect the market, and then how to trade those announcements, like the reaction and what you should be doing and all of that. Okay. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. The other one that I do, then this one just launched. This one is a brand new one that I just launched. And I'm gonna send this. Oh, I didn't send that to everybody. Let's see. There is that one I did send to everybody. This is the Energy Watch on this, the second one I sent you. Now, Energy Watch, this is a dedicated to trading energy and gold. Okay. Energy and gold and stocks around energy, as well as things that are going to have down chains effect of that as well. Right. Down chain effects on energy and gold. And here's the other one with Wealth Watch. These are my two newsletters so far. Probably continue a couple others just to have a little more focus on certain things. Wealth Watch is overall wealth. Energy is, focus on the energy sector, gold and energy and precious metals really, as well. So, let's see. Question: is the global future really going to revolve in large part around energy? Yes. How about that? I'll just answer that one directly and simply. Yes, it will. So, those are my two newsletters that I want to share with you guys. The next is Discord. So I'll share my Discord link with you guys as well. Now, this Discord channel that we have, look, we have Freddie that's, sharing trades, and Stu that shares trades, and a lot of individuals in here. I want everybody to start asking questions and sharing and things like that. Here is the Discord link. This link allows you to be in. You get in for life. Once you register, you're in. But the link only works for 7 days. So, every week I have to reshare the link. So you might as well use it now. Go ahead and use it. If you haven't joined, feel free to join right now. In this, the other thing I want to bring you is that coming up this week, okay, there's a new tool that Mark Helwig has created. And I don't know what I can and can't share here with this new tool, but I will just say this. In the last 15 days, he has had one losing day in the last 15 days, and he's doing this in a prop account. He used this tool and he passed a prop account in like 3 hours. Okay. Now Mark and I are teaming up to do a kind of an education session around this and show you guys some really unique things. So if you've ever been interested in the prop stuff and you haven't done it, like, I'll be honest, I'm signing up for my first prop account. I should say I signed up for my first prop account. I'm connecting it to this, and then I'm going to use that. Right. That is a link to this webinar. It works with all prop accounts. So it works with any and all prop accounts. So if you guys want to register for that, click on that link right now. I'll share it again later in the webinar as well, but go ahead and click on the link right now for that. That is just, a couple of little housekeeping items I had here for today. So I'll give you guys about 3 seconds to do that, or about 10 seconds to do that. And then I'm going to take a sip of water. And Jim, I hope everything is going well in Colorado. Need to reach out to you sometime soon. So, Greg, probably Brent or somebody. I don't think Brent would probably be the best person to reach out to. Okay. Let's see. Energy and precious metals numbers service. Great news. Thank you so much for that. And look, guys, Jerry can attest to this. She's known me for forever. Paul can attest to this as well. Known me forever. Guys, if there's something you want to see from my newsletters that I'm not sharing, let me know. Let me know. I'm open ears, okay? I'm open ears. Just don't be rude. Because if you're rude, I'll tell you just like my brothers when they were little and they would try to talk a little junk to me. It'll come right back. I was voted most witty in the third grade. Yes, I'll cover uranium. I'll cover it all. It's just these first 2 weeks of news has been dominated by a couple of things. So I've been, sticking with that because that's what, but yes, I will cover uranium and various things like that. Let me get out of my student email. Perfect. Good. So let's get into this week's fundamental news, right? We have new home sales, durable good orders. Durable good orders is a really good pass through to kind of view the economy and stuff like that. We have consumer confidence coming out on Tuesday. US GDP Q4 final estimates. So this is Q4 of last year. So this is coming out on Thursday. Initial jobless claims as well, PCE price index, core PCE, and consumer sentiment as well. Let's see. Yeah, Joseph, you've known me for 16 years as well. That's crazy. Look, guys, this is a really stacked week for announcements that'll give you a really good snapshot of the health of the economy. I expect GDP to be a little low again. I expect GDP to pick up, though, in Q1. We'll talk a little bit about that today as well if we have time. I expect a PCE price index. That'll more than likely be a little bit, it'll be flat to maybe a little bit higher. When they release April's information for March, that's when we're going to see a jump as well. Okay. That's when we'll see a jump in that. Let's see. And jobless claims, we'll see what that looks like as well. And feel free to screenshot this. I'll go ahead and give you guys about 10 seconds to screenshot it. Type in done when you have it screenshotted for me. Rob, yeah, I know. Crazy, 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 isn't it? The reason I'll tell you why my suspected reason for GDP jump as well. If we have time here today, we got a lot to cover. Okay, perfect. Next is major companies. This is I call this kind of, we're on the tail end of earnings season before it ramps back up again next quarter. But, we got a few decent ones, right? We got Chewy, we got Jeffrey Financial, we have KB Homes, GameStop, Concentrix, and Centos as well. Paychex in there as well. So feel free to screenshot this. It was not it was slim pickings as as I was scrolling through, looking at all the announcements, like not a lot here going on, right? When your market caps get into the 3-4 billion, you're not a huge company. So, perfect. Screenshot this. Type in done when you can. Fantastic. Now, before we jump into the charts, you guys know that we got some things to cover here. The first thing I want to do is I want to clear up a point of question that I had after the presentation last week, which was about economic cycles. And I actually took this picture from my textbook when I was in my MBA program. I took this picture from my textbook when I was in my MBA program. And this is a really good 4-year economic cycle that we're literally kind of all in right now, right? If you think about 4 or 5 years ago, short-term interest rates were at, extremely low, 0, 1%, quarter of a percent, 75 basis points. And then the economy was looking weak at that time. Stock prices began to rise. That was fueled by technology. We had a decent economic recovery, right? Inflation went from 9% down to 2%. And then we went from, 14% unemployment in 2021 declining down to like 3% in 2024 or 5, and then back up to about 4% right now. Bond prices, or the economy began over to heat. Bond prices fell, commodity prices rose, right? We saw oil kind of get back up there back, a few years ago. We're seeing that now again today. Lumber was high, sugar was high, everything began to high. And then inflation began to rise. And so they had to raise short-term interest rates. And then we hadn't really seen this yet. And we'll talk about this here today. Commodity prices did begin to fall. We saw oil prices fall. We saw lumber rates fall. We saw sugar fall. We saw most things fall. But this is where we're kind of sitting in now. GDP decreases, property values fall, recession, bond prices rise, and inflation falls. This is where we're kind of sitting in this kind of area now, the arrows on the outside. Now, we're going to talk about this here today because, yes, this is part of a normal economic cycle, and it seems a little, how do I put this, kind of exacerbated by, the news and how fast things are happening. But overall, I still think that we're still in a, sense of a normal economic cycle, right? Meaning that it's not like, this is just so out of the norm. It's just happening very, very fast, and it's happening. I'll use bigly in a bigly way, right? Now the next thing is, and it's happening due to this war and all of that. Okay. Let's see. Recent estimates that AI will eliminate 600 million jobs by 12/31/2027. And, William, even more if we get, because that doesn't even count in like robotics. Right? That doesn't even count in robotics. But today we'll talk about that. That's an area of research that I freaking love, and I go into very, very deeply. But let's talk about the outcomes of this war, right? If this lingers on, which we do know that, I mean, guys, this is like back and forth like it's damn Wimbledon. But, President Trump today, let me see if I have it up here. I thought I had it up. Yeah, I do. President Trump today said U.S. is getting very close to meeting objectives. White House is considering winding down Iran war. Hegseth on Thursday needed $200 billion because the war was going to continue. Trump on Saturday said threatens to strike Iranian power plants if Iran does not reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Iran said, well, if you attack our power plants, we're going to attack the rest of the oil and gas infrastructure. Then it won't matter if the damn straits are open because nobody exporting nothing. And then on Friday said, hey, initial discussions on peace talks might look like, I mean, it's coming a mile a minute, right? A mile a minute right there. So we have a whole lot going on. But my main focus isn't to just talk about like what is potentially happening. I would just want to talk about the outcomes of this, because regardless of things, there are a few outcomes that are very important to us as we live, right? One's inflation. And food production being probably the biggest part of that inflation. I spoke about this in one of my videos this week, but right now the United States only has about 40% of the fertilizer it needs to grow the crops that we grow. Okay, 40% of the fertilizer. The other 60% needs nitrogen and other elements that come through the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, so think about this. Imagine, even if, let's say, an idealistic situation, that 40% fertilizer still gives us the ability to produce 60% yields on the crops that we do have, like 60%, of what we normally yield. Well, that's going to mean food prices go higher. And that means food prices go higher for everybody because of fertilizer. And people don't think about that. Phosphates, ammonia, nitrogen, yes, those are all elements of that. Okay. The next is product inflation. Your t-shirt got oil, has oil in it. The paint on your walls has oil in it. The plastic on around your computer monitor has oil in it. The keyboard you're typing on has oil in it. There's very little in this world that doesn't have oil in it. And if there's a lack of oil, until we find, a great replacement, which for polymers and things like that, your products will cost more because there will be less of them manufactured, right? Right? That there'll be less manufactured. Hemp, yes, is a replacement. Absolutely is the replacement, as Jerry asked me to say. But inflation, we live in a society where oil is a thing that we produce, right? Like, is a thing that the entire industry, global industry, is based on fossil fuels. That's what it is. To switch that over overnight is going to take trillions and trillions of investment. And so there is, not to mention, if everybody went on to electric vehicles overnight, we don't have a grid system that can support that. So there's just a lot that goes on with that. So inflation is a real thing. I expect there to be massive inflation. The next is slowing of tech sector. Now, I talked about this actually in the Energy Watch. I did a newsletter on this in the Energy Watch. So in the tech, the reason why slowing a tech sector is, and I do mean like chip manufacturing and memory manufacturing. There is a key element that you have to have in chip manufacturing and memory manufacturing that requires helium. 70% of the world's helium comes from Qatar. 70%. Right? 70% of them do. And it's one of those, it's a crazy, crazy thing, right? Is that true? That's hilarious if it is. So, helium, like HELIUM, helium is needed in production of the wafer chips for memory chips, of the wafers for memory chips, as well as for the flash memory that Micron and SanDisk and all of that produce. Well, if they can't import that, what happens? You think prices go down? Prices go up. Right? Prices go up. And so that's in manufacturing. And then that also is in the finance of it, right? You've seen Stiefel and Blue Owl and all of these companies that invested into these into software companies that are going belly up. Well, the finance sector is suffering from that. BlackRock has instituted capital controls. I talked about that in a video in Wealth Watch last week, right? BlackRock is not allowing investors to pull out money. Neither is JP Morgan if they're invested in these funds that went to go into private equity. Even though your money is supposed to be able to be pulled out at any point in time, and that's in the contract you signed, but they don't give a damn. It's just, it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is on that. Next, reduction of munitions. Right? Look, we see it already. There is a reduction of munitions right now. We are pressing for manufacturing of munitions. That's why one of my stock picks this week for Wealth Watch, or maybe it was Energy Watch, was PPTA. And we'll talk about that one as well, because they have the sole mining rights in the United States for, I think it's called like antimonity or something like that. I don't antimony or something like that. And it's used in munitions. I never claimed to win a spelling bee in my life, and I never will. Okay. Right. Yes. Right. And when I saw that SP antimony, right, when I saw that, I was like, anti-money is first thing that went to my head. But one E short there. Now, reduction of munitions, Taiwan vulnerability. Right now, two of our aircraft carriers, which you can only be on an aircraft carrier for so long, but two of our aircraft carriers are over in, I think, and a third on its way are over in the Middle East. One is out there for posturing purposes out in the Red Sea, and Taiwan could easily be taken by that. Debt. If you're on my Discord, great. If not, this is where we were the other day. Oh, let's go to Debt Clock and see where we are today. Debt Clock right now, right this second. Here we go. So right now, we are $39 trillion in debt. Every taxpayer needs to cough up $357,000 to get us out of debt. And yeah, that is quite interesting, right? Quite interesting there. 35 trillion. US total debt, 107 trillion. We're about to be paying $1 trillion a day on this. And even economists in Trump's cabinet said the one big beautiful bill will probably add about $4 to $5 trillion in its first 5 years of being out. So just know that is number is going to eclipse. And we're going to talk a little bit about like, where does this debt cycle go, right? I have a pretty unique position on this through a bunch of research that and I may be talking about this. I may save this because it gets deep, but I might be having a 3-day event. Well, I will be. You guys will be seeing it soon. I'm going to have a 3-day event soon for something that I'm doing, and it's going to be centered around energy, gold, all of that, and debt as well, and how that happens. Now, de-dollarization. Now, people have been talking about this, the petrodollar ending. Guys, do you know there was no formal agreement on the petrodollar? Yes or no? Did you guys know that? There was never, in 1974, at the time, the head of Saudi Arabia committed to buy oil in U.S. dollars to help U.S. out of Vietnam and bailing out and paying for everything as well, right? And that happened in 1974 when 3 years after we got off the gold standard. And this is a breakdown of it. There was never a formal agreement, but for the last 50 plus years, we have been trading in. Oil has always been bought and sold in dollars up until recently. Recently, India bought Russian oil paid with Chinese yuan. As a matter of fact, Iran has floated the idea in peace talks that part of the peace talks would be that any oil that passes through the Straits of Hormuz would need to be traded in Chinese yuan and not dollars. A handshake, maybe a bow, or something like that. But that was part of it, right? The U.S. has its own oil at any time, doesn't it? All that oil that they're counting is also Venezuela's. We have strategic oil reserves. And here's the thing. If the U.S. had so much oil, here's the next thing that just happened. Iran 30-day sale of Iranian oil at sea to bid to tame prices. So the U.S. on March 21st, yesterday, announced that, hey, we're gonna allow you to sell as much oil as you can in the next 30 days so we could stock up. And then, right, last week, 30-day sanction waiver on purchase of Russian oil as well. Bryce said, Bryce, great question. Says, hey, are our refineries built to handle the oil we pump from our ground? It's supposed to be built to handle the crude from Venezuela. It's not even handled the crude from Venezuela, right? It's not even handled that crude. That crude is heavy crude. We handle crude light. That's why CL is so important to us, right? And the oil. Look, if you believe that Texas has so much oil that can make us independent, I lived in Texas for 3 years. Their energy grid is powered by wind turbines. That's why when the freeze happened, the wind turbines froze up, and that's why so many people in the state lost power. How about that? Right? How about that? Just goes to show. Just goes to show. That's why in Texas they charge you for the energy you use, and they charge you to deliver it to your house. Yes, they charge you to deliver that to your house as well. So the de-dollarization, that's like, maybe it could happen, maybe it won't. We don't know, right? Other major threats right now, one is housing sector. I know I harp on this, but for good reason. Some of you guys may have seen this, some of you may not have not, but the US pending home sales is at the lowest level it has ever been at in the history of the United States. As a matter of fact, 2008, 2009, today. Not since well, maybe since 92. I don't know 92. I don't have that data. I didn't go that far back. But that is insane when you think about it, right? And that includes all the homes that BlackRock and all them are buying. So somebody did this the other day. You know, they were talking about, I watched this video. This gentleman was talking about how, you know, his parents and grandparents were telling him that he was irresponsible for buying a TV and not buying a home. And he did some research and he showed this to his parents and grandparents that when his parents bought a home, a 21-inch TV cost about $500 at the time, and the average down payment on a house was $11,000. Okay, so you could buy, 22 TVs, and that would have been the down payment on a house. So, of course, that makes sense. Today, the average down payment for a home is $102,000. That's the average nationally. You got to think, tens of millions, all of that. It's about 206 TVs, right? So that is insane, right? Now, housing sector is a threat. And then the other is joblessness, but I call that really underemployment, because today, one of the biggest reasons why people aren't counted in that jobless numbers is because of they're going to Uber, they're going to Uber Eats, they're going to gig economy, they're going to all these little jobs to make money, but it's not, it hasn't really kind of performed for them well. And these are all threats that could really, in fact, create, I hate to say this, but like a kind of like a hostile market, if you will. Right? Like we can see that the S&P 500, if we look at, I don't care what time frame you look at, if we go over to a daily time frame here, you can see that we have broken through major levels of support and resistance. This I was not supposed to. Well, guys, look, I'll just give you a little preview. When I have my 3-day event, this is a brand new tool that I created. I've been sitting on for some time. I told you guys I've been sitting on it. But what this does is tells you when to buy, highlights the candle, tells you when to take profit, highlights the candle, and only buys it. And it also divides the market into a buy zone and sell zone. When the background's green, you buy. When the background's red, you sell. It's truly that simple. So that'll be something in days to come. But I will share that with you guys, and just know that is going. I've decided to release it because, well, I just want to help people.
That's my ultimate goal. But you guys can see here, there is a level of support and resistance. Here is your next level. Here is the level after that. There is a gap in the market. I'm going to highlight gaps in purple. Another gap here and another gap here. This is all on the daily chart. If we then go and look and begin to plot our fibs, we had retracement, extension, 50618. So probably coming down here to right around the 634 number is where we could be dropping. So another, what's that, 1,000 points or so in the S&P could potentially happen here, could potentially happen. And so we see this, and there's opportunity there. And there is also risk there. And that's why, last week I gave this out, and I'm going to extend it again today. But there are things that you can do that protect your wealth from all downside risk. Protect your 401ks, protect your IRAs, protect any wealth that you want to protect. Protect your retirement from 100% downside risk. 100% of it is protected. So if the market fell, let's just say hypothetically next week, the market fell all the way down to this purple line, and we lost 4,000, nearly 5,000 points or 500 points in the S&P, right? And went from 6,500 to 6,000. Imagine you only losing zero and you getting to reinvest at those lows. And you can use these tools to invest in gold and all of that. Like, I sent this out last week. I'm going to send it again. Book time with me, right? You can use that link to book time with me, or you can simply, like type in your phone number if you want to as well, right? If you want to type in your phone number, you're more than welcome to type in your phone number, and we can, work with you and set you up as well. Okay. So if you can't use that link, that's fine. Use it, book time. If you can't, I understand. And then I'll give you a direct link for me as well. Just in case. Like, that link is for it's a calendar for myself and Brent and our team. This link is directly with me, and you'll be a member of my team as well. So we will help you out. Paul, thank you for your phone number. I got it there. I will definitely give you a shout. Sandy, you have the ability to, I think. There you go. There's that. So use those links, book time with us. There's opportunity there. I'll share it again at the end. But a couple of other, significant news items I want to talk about. We talked about this one. I'll close that tab. Got too many tabs open. We talked about this one. U.S. says Canada is Cuba, Canada. Damn. You see, we're trying to take over too many damn countries. I can't even keep them straight. Okay. Oh, absolutely, Dan. Absolutely. You can share it with it, right? Cuba. There we go. Right. Cuba. U.S. says Cuba is prohibited from taking Russian oil as 2 tankers head to the island. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I know years ago when when President Obama lifted the embargo, President Trump came back in and added the embargo. And now I bet you hotels and, who knows, we may get a new Trump hotel and golf course down in Cuba. And that could be part of it. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't looked into it. I think I'm close to capacity with some things. So there is a Cuba crisis as well, apparently. So who knows? And we talked about that, and perfect. So now let's jump into markets here. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is gold, right? A couple of weeks ago, I shared this with you guys in that, and actually, you know what? I have it somewhere. Give me a second. I know. Oh, I think I know where it is. Hold on one second. I did something here recently, and You'll see it. It's part of my marketing, but I'm going to steal from myself. Um, so this is that same chart I showed you. This is from Bloomberg. This is how much gold they have stocked up on. And notice this massive parabolic movement in 2025 kind of parallels the gold market of today on a monthly chart. And as a matter of fact, if you overlay the two, doesn't that look familiar? Right? Doesn't that look familiar right there? Right. So that is interesting, right? Who was selling to them? The US, Africa, Europe, everywhere. You see what has happened and what people don't realize and is like underreported is China has gone from $1.2 trillion of US debt to $600 billion of US debt. That means they've redeemed $600 billion worth of US debt, and they've been buying hard assets like gold, folks. That's a big deal. That's why gold, as much of a safe haven as it is, it makes me wonder a little, is there something that may happen to gold? Right, as another way to combat with China. Like that just, I mean, that's a concern, right? Is there something that could happen with gold as well? So this, if we look at gold on a daily chart, right? We've fallen down to a level of support. We're bouncing off of this level of support, as you see. Well, it's really right there is the level of support and resistance. So gold could fall maybe another 80 points or so. But if we plot a fib from like this high to that low, which that could be the high and low, right, on a daily, that would mean that gold could fall back down to 4,000, which is that level of support and resistance. And what we did see is I talk about this market structure a lot, which is a king's crown, right? We had a left tip, center tip, right tip form, which is why, I had talked about closing out of gold at a certain point in time. So the reason why, Sharon, is one, some bit of profit taking, right? Some of it, yes, is profit taking. Some of it may be redemption. And gold is actually something that could get us out of US debt too. So I also think that it's just, nothing moves parabolically up forever, right? We saw that with Bitcoin. We saw it with the tulip bubble. We've seen it with housing. We've seen it all over and over, right? People have this hubris and this heuristic view, and everything looks, they're looking at everything with rose-colored lenses, thinking that it will all go up forever. The market just goes up, so just keep buying. The market can absolutely go down. Right. And we're seeing gold, yes, spike up this first few hours. But if we take a deeper dive into gold, right, on a monthly chart, you see it's just a pure parabolic movement. We haven't established a to the left, to the right, high or low. And as a matter of fact, the monthly chart's resistance is right there at 3,300. So is gold coming back down to 3,300? It could. Let's go down to a weekly chart and take a look at a weekly chart. Not much more to go on there other than if we plot a fib from this point to this point, that tells us that we have the next stop for gold should be 4,405. So do I think it's going to fall another 86 points or so? Yes, I think it will. I think you'll get some relief Monday. And, I talked about in the videos this week, a dead cat bounce. And that's exactly what we saw, right? Is don't get hyped about bullish movements. One of the things you can do to combat that is come out here to the left, draw a counter trend line, give yourself this wiggle room, right? I don't give a damn if gold moves from 4,400 to 4,700. It's that move from 4,800 to 5,500 that I want to see. Okay. That's what I'm telling you, right? Paul, no. Remember, Paul, it's bulls climb stairs and bears fall out of windows. That's what we say, right? Oh, Jerry, right? Let's see. Redemption to pay taxes, margin calls, yes, all of that. So that's part of it. Um, and, I one thing I need to look back into is African exports of gold. Are they back open? Are they closed because of the ports of the Straits of Hormuz and all of that? We need to look at that as well because they kicked out France and Burkina Faso and many other major gold hubs, and they're partnered with China. That's the biggest thing, part of the Silk and Belt Road Initiative as well. So we'll talk about that in my 3-day event coming up. Don't worry, you guys will get the link probably next week. And so we'll see this large movement here potentially coming, in gold. I think push down here, bounce from here, back up. That's what I'm looking for, right? That's what I'm looking for. So, if you trend it up on that curve, look, will it get to $15,000 an ounce? Maybe. But that's again, like before it gets to 15, I think it gets to 4. Before it gets to 15, I think it gets to 33, probably 3,500 before it gets to 15. That's what I honestly could see, but that gives us an opportunity to buy. It goes back to the old adage. Warren Buffett said it best. Whenever everybody is in this euphoric buying mode, start looking for your exit. And whenever everybody is in this, where's the bottom, it'll never end mode, start looking for your entry. Okay. Let's see. Paul, if you use this link, you should be able to register for all of them. And shoot me an email, Paul. I'll get you I'll get you registered as well. So there's gold. We'll do a quick NQ outlook as well. And then there's 1 or 2 stocks that I want to look at with us as well. I don't know what's going on my charts. Give me a second, guys. I think it may be time that even though I only have had this computer for a year, I may need one with more RAM, which is wild for me to even have to think that, but that is what it is. So NQ. So yeah, I just get another Mac, so it is what it is. Trade this one in and get a faster one. Even though this is an M4 Pro with 16 gigs, I probably need something more. So on the NQ, we have seen support holding, which is great. If we do break this level of support, just know your gaps are down here. There's one there and one right there. So there's your gaps in the market. Now, if we break this level of resistance, our next is there, and then there and there, right? Before we get to our first major gap. So in looking at that, it is nice that the NQ is holding. If we plot fibs from the there to there, that one gave us a 8-6 pullback. So we know Fibonacci wise, we're going right there. This is giving us this. So this is saying 22,926. So right in here, which is still within that level of support and resistance, that area of it. So it could fall 2,000 points or so. We will see, right? It all depends on the news that comes out this week. It all depends on how these ICE agents handle being TSA agents, right? Didn't know that, didn't know that was coming, but Who knows what that's going to be like. I mean, my goodness, your passport's expired. Beat them now. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Right? I'm joking. I'm joking. Please just take that as a joke. Now let's go into here's a stock that I think that is going to be this stock I think is going to be a massive, massive company, but don't buy it right now. Okay. It's been public for 2 days. I have been tracking this like a hawk. I've been following this like a hawk. It's a ticker symbol is VCX. Okay. VCX. That's Victor Charlie X ray. Now, what is VCX? Well, VCX is a company that they are basically a fund, a private equity fund or management fund that's closed in and they invest in private tech companies. So when because right now we are at some of the lowest point in history of US stocks. Like we've gone from 10,000 about 10 years ago to 4,000 about 2 years ago to 3,400 publicly traded companies, and companies, they're not going public like they used to because they can just have more control ownership wise. So there's no real like the entity structure is basically they take their money and they go out and they invest in private companies. Okay. They take their money and they go invest in private companies. So they haven't even like this is their first, they just went public. So what I would look at is we're probably going to see this, right? They came public right around 60 or 70 bucks right in there. They're going to shoot up probably like 180, 190. They're going to pull back probably like that, right in here. And if I can set a pending buy for this stock at 70 bucks, I'm taking it. Okay. I'm taking it. So, oh man, Bryce, that stinks. But I would take it right in there, right? This is it's not optionable. It is not optionable because it's not even been out for 30 days. So this is one that, hey, this is that buy and hold, right? This is that one that you buy now. It's like, imagine if you could go back and buy, the S&P when it was first formed or the Dow at, 3,000 bucks and it's at, was at $50,000 a few months ago, right? So yeah, I don't believe VCX is optional. I'll double check that. Yeah, no options on VCX yet. Okay. I like there's some stocks that I do buy. I do, add to my portfolio. There's some that I do some options on and stuff like that. But mainly because like it's just I'm not buying companies that I'm not interested in, right? I'm not buying companies that I'm not interested in. So that's one of the ones. And we'll go a little bit longer here today. What are some stocks that you guys want to take a look at here? Go ahead and just type them in and we'll run through a few of them. Let's see, Deborah, that is hilarious. IBIT, CF, Donut, AAOI, Pound, Yen, ASTS, Nukes, Warner Brothers. Buy what you wouldn't really trade that right now. SoFi, I love that. HAL, okay. MOS, Micron. Why would we be buying these tech companies when I just told you what the biggest damn issue is in the market? But okay. I mean, goodness gracious, you touch the stove burnt your fingers, and you want some more, huh? And you want some more. Okay, I gotcha. COHR, SCCO. Let's see. SLV. Okay, we'll try to get through as many of these as we can. So I'm gonna slide this over and we'll just keep rolling through. I'm going to put this here. 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. And let's go to IBIT. Bitcoin Trust. Where's Bitcoin going is really what the question is. And Bitcoin is probably just going to remain flat this week. And I'll even throw my system on there. Still showing a selling in the sell zone on Bitcoin on IBIT. Looking for it to fall down to 38.45 is where that is looking like. Still in the sell zone here. Still in the buy zone on a 1 hour, but 4 hour daily. Everything says sell, right? Everything says sell here. So it is just where we are in this stock. Now. Let's go CF. I would not be buying Bitcoin until we establish new high and then pull back from that. Not like a new all-time high, but like I want to see $75,000 before I go and start buying Bitcoin again. CF Holdings, we have selling opportunity, took profit, and the market has pulled back on that as well. If we look at the daily just with HFT, you can see buying opportunity 94, and then it began to pull back. Still have selling energy in there as well. So overall, I'm looking at this as, hey, I wouldn't be buying it right now. Donut, is that Dunkin' Donuts? DNUT? Oh, Krispy Kreme. Look, Krispy Kreme, massive pullback. $3. Would I buy this at $3.49? Nope. Especially you have a huge gap here at $2.99. Probably would not be buying this at all right now. I think this will probably fall back into that $2.99 area. They're just not as popular, health kick, all of that, higher prices, all of that. It's just not there, AAOI. Still a sell. Still a sell. Right there's where I want to see it, $60. So $27 or so till that thing probably reaches its bottom. We said it would fill this gap, and it filled that gap. Now we're looking for it to fill this gap, Daily fibs right here show us that we are looking, and look at that. Cover me in powdered sugar and call me a donut, because our fibs and this low gap all line up, and we have selling energy that is still increasing in that. Who would have thunk it, right? Who would have thunk it? So let's keep this going here. Let's see. ASTS. ASTS, we are still in the sell, still selling energy is high. The market has only moved sideways. It filled that gap up, like we said, but we have that same market structure, right? We have this left tip, center tip, right tip, potential King's Crown movement that's going to potentially push this down. We are in the little bit of the buy zone here on ASTS. I will definitely, cannot ignore that. But 66.80 is where I'd be looking at this being at the low. 66.80 is where I'd be looking at this. I still think that this has room to fall. Okay. I still think this has room to fall. Let's go to pound yen. Pound yen on the daily still has some bullish opportunity there. Shorter term on the 1 hour, I think we fill this gap at 212.401. But overall, it is climbing back up to where we were. But does that mean that it will climb for good? Let's take a look here on this daily. That D extension was reached. That's where your D extension was. We're sitting at an 8.6. So for anybody trading pound yen, if it breaks this counter trend line, look for a sell, right? If it breaks below that and closes at around 211, 614, then look for the sell and sell it all the way down. If you see selling energy come into the market, look for the sell and continue to sell it, because right now things are very fluid with the yen because of, their rising inflation and interest rates. Let's go nukes. Nukes is on a pullback. I think out of this oil crisis, like, I'm just going to say this, and this is one of those like educated predictions, is that I think out of the oil crisis comes a surge in nuclear energy. Because if we can build these small nuclear reactors, and Japan just signed up for a massive amount of small nuclear reactors from OKLO and SMR, which I've been telling you guys to buy, but we'll see if, how that happens in time and all that. But I do believe that with this oil crisis, that is going to create a little bit of surge in energy value and prices and all of that. And then again, guys, sorry to do this again, but I got 160 of you in here now, and a bunch of you guys just showed up in the last little bit. This, for everybody in here, this is a newsletter that I put out called Energy Watch. This is focused on energy and gold, right? So, and then I have another one called Wealth Watch that you can sign up for. So if you missed that earlier, then there it is now as well. So let's go here. Nukes, bros. Dutch Bros Coffee. Look, the world has enough overpriced coffee. Do I think that it's going to go super high? No, I actually think that this is going to continue to fall and probably will live somewhere in the $20 to $25 mark. Right? Probably will live until the $20 to $25 mark. Dethrone the king, which is Starbucks, and then we can talk. We have done nothing but sit sideways for some time in this stock. Let's see. Yep. It's just done nothing but sit sideways in this stock. So I would say look for a selling opportunity. Okay. Absolutely, John. Absolutely. Let's go SoFi. Anthony Noto went to West Point, was a running back for the football team there. My brother actually is a former kicker for West Point. He just graduated. And he was also a cadet coach for the last 3 years, has met him more times than he could count, which is, I think, the coolest thing in the world. And I said all of those times, and you never thought to see if I could meet him to get some capital? And he was like, honestly, no, I didn't even think about that. I said, well, that's you just thinking about me, huh? But SoFi, right? We've already hit a D extension. We've exceeded that D extension. They're continuously building earnings. They have amazing products. They have a great growth. They're one of the few companies adopting this crypto and USDC and their own coin as well. That has a good amount of products and has their banking charter already. I'm a big proponent on SoFi, and at $16.97, I find SoFi a buy all day. A buy all day in SoFi. So I am good with that. I don't mind it being $16. Yes, I know it could fall to 11 and I'd be, it could fall, another $5, but I would buy that all day. Especially just look at their track record. 3 earnings they've missed. And then we have earnings coming up for them in May again. So let's see. Hit the ignore button, Paul. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I've done that to mine tonight. So Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. This must be priced in core or rupee. I don't know much about Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, but from a technical standpoint, we'll do a quick evaluation. Um, well, they said the ticker they sent me was H. Oh, they wanted Halliburton. Okay, sorry. My apologies. I go with what's first. Halliburton, Halliburton, Halliburton. Well, you know they like war in the Middle East. I'm joking. I'm joking. You have gaps in it down there. It is at a high. It is starting to pull back. Buying energy is starting to wane, so we may see some selling energy come in. It does boast for selling opportunity around this peace talks, and maybe we'll see peace talks. We don't know. From kind of what the posturing from Iran has said and the president has said, I don't, it doesn't look promising, at least not for the next few weeks or months. But you know, where those gaps are former D extensions. We are at a level of natural resistance. We never had any retracement here. So could this pull back all the way into here? Yes. Could it continue up to $40.15? Absolutely. So how would I play this is one, if I wasn't in it now, I would wait for 37.26 to break. Or if I wanted that sell, I would have a counter trend line and I would want that counter trend line to break. Right? I would want that counter trend line to break is what I'd be looking for on those two. Okay. Helen, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Why wouldn't you let the stock rise for a couple of days to get past the lower Bollinger Band and then buy SoFi? So these, that's not just Bollinger Bands. I can't remember what those exactly are, but not a big, I'm looking at it from a long-term perspective. Okay. I'm looking at it from a long-term perspective. We'll hit Lulu real quick. One of my favorites, still at 162.82, bouncing right back after the, better than expected earnings, worse than forward guidance because of inflation, because of all of that. It doesn't help with oil prices, but we have broken that inner downward trend line that we were seeing right in here, broke that, closed above it. Now it's just breaking this next one. We see buying energy and selling energy close. So over the next few weeks, we'll be determining. But I have no doubt that this will get back up into where we want it to be very, very soon. If we look at my other favorite play, UNH, that's just been sitting sideways. They have earnings coming up late April. So once those earnings come out, we'll see where forward guidance puts them, and probably we'll see that spike there. Let's go MOS. Wow, that is way down. Chemical agriculture. I knew. This would be, their product's going to be expensive. They're going to make more money. So they are going to be hurt by the oil industry, and the Straits of Hormuz closed. So they'll have less product, but it means it could create better demand. It means our earnings would pop up. So that would be an interesting play here. Very interesting. Okay. Very, very interesting. I do like that opportunity, but I would give it till the end of the week before you started buying it. Robinhood still have a little bit away, about $4 left till we're at support and resistance. And I could see this pushing up to 96 and then hopefully not back down to 25. If we hit back to 96, then it'll be great. But all it's going to take is one bad report. We still have high selling energy, and selling energy is still growing. So that tells me that Robinhood probably don't want to be in too long. Palantir, I actually think this is going to be a great one as well. I think Palantir, especially War, building these social profiles that they're building on us. I think this just stock just continues to go up. So I would not hold off on that. GE Verona is another one that GEV, that's Golf Echo. What is V? Violet? I don't remember. Right. GEV, they're another play around small nuclear reactors. They're going to be a part of the Japan build out as well, so they'll benefit from that. And you can see their stock since going public, it has just been a nice ride to the north. Victor. V is Victor. You're right. My apologies. Violet works too. If you didn't know what V was from Violet, then I'm sorry. And Amazon really quickly, and then I have to run to my other meeting here very, very shortly. Amazon, I think it's not going to benefit from the inflation. It is not going to benefit from the straits being closed. It's not going to benefit from this whole US China craziness, right? We still, little known, a little underreported, US and China still didn't meet about what's gone on. And China is condemning this for the Straits of Hormuz attack, and they're not coming to support. And Iran has sent China oil. Only country that's getting oil through the Straits of Hormuz. So look, again, guys, we talked in depth about this. I'm going to share my link once again. If you guys want to have a one-on-one appointment to talk about your retirement, to make sure it's protected, and I'm one of those people that if everything's set up properly, I'll tell you, hey, you're set up properly. Good to go. Don't buy anything from me. I tell people that all the time. Just had that meeting this past weekend. But if there is vulnerability and we can protect you, why don't we do it? So with that, guys, I want to thank you all for being here. I'll get this converted and hopefully I'll get this up sooner rather than later. If you guys have any needs or questions at all, I'll be in the webinars. You can contact Brent or anybody, and I'll tell you the reason why I sent you that link is the same, and why we need to have this appointment is very, very simple. Is one of my new favorite quotes, which is, God feeds birds, but he doesn't drop worms into their nests, meaning you got to go out and do the work and the research and find the opportunity and take advantage of the opportunities when they're there. So we'll talk. I look forward to it. I'll see you guys next Sunday, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Thank you guys so much. Ramel, they're typically on my YouTube channel. And I swear to you, I hate the word I'm about to say. I absolutely never wanted to be this person that says what I'm about to say. But if you if you want to get access and get alerted when I post these things, okay, go to my channel and subscribe. I swear. I was going to say, somebody said, like and subscribe. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel. Okay. But you see, I don't promote it a lot. I only got 99 subscribers, but subscribe to the channel. Please go ahead and do so. And you'll get alerted when I post these videos and stuff. So, yeah, I just, I'm that guy. See, that's exactly what it is. I'm that guy, right? Like and subscribe, links in the bio, all that crazy stuff. But subscribe, you'll get access as soon as it posts. It sends you an alert, no pop up for you and all that mess. So, Subscribe, why not? All right. So really looking forward to talking with you guys, and I'll see you guys this week in the webinar. And don't forget, register for this Top Trade Tools webinar. Mark and I are going to be doing this together as well. And I'm excited about this. Look, let's just say I have never opened a prop trading account because I was able to take $500 and turn it into a large account and then continue to grow it from there and pay myself from it. So I always said I want full control. I want all of that. But this is a one-click gamified dashboard to pass prop firm challenges and hit daily profit targets. That's what this is built for. Works with Apex, Top Step, FTMO, and it removes emotion from it, right? Went 10 for 11 days this month, generating over $5,000 in profit, right? Sign up for that. I'll see you there. Okay. So, thank you guys as well for it. And I will, let's see. Tom said, can't believe you're promoting this for prop trading. Hey, this is what this is for. Not me. What Mark is built is for. I mean, it's pretty amazing. But God bless you guys. I'll see you guys next week on Sunday. Have a good one.